So I show that. So it is basically everything we have, and will display the format. And those things. So those things are relations which I will add to all the slides in this collection of relations. If you see a person's head with a flash, cheek on top of his head, it means something you need to just remember. Or not just, you need to remember. If you only see if you see that, which means you need to be able to understand when you see things which are written in things on that slide. If you only see a person's head, which basically just means you need to understand the concept or you need to go to explain properly. So these are the 4 different levels. So as I said, I will go through part of it. So, but actually I haven't finalized this one yet because I'm in the middle of it. And just show you actually what is actually the level of stuff you need to do. For question 1, interaction with web. First line, this is one of the slides in week 1. What is interaction? What is web? The legend is only be able to remember, only be able to explain. You don't, of course, have to even use the same term here, like web is what, or computer is what. So I try to explain using your own words, but describe the same thing which we research. How does the internet work? This is at a very low level, so that's the packets sending from one computer to the other, which like normal post office, so you send stuff via post office. Again, not about remember things, it's about understand the process. In those lines. So IP and IP addresses, so you do need to understand as well, not to remember. There's nothing really to remember. It's about you need to understand IP address is head format, right? A.B.C.D, which is for 32 bits. 64 IPv4 is not covered. IPv4 128 bits is not covered actually. And IP to domain name, DNS. Again, about understanding. So, of course, which probably implies that you need to be able to recognize DNS as a term, which I probably should put a chip on DNS. IP to TCP, again, this is about understanding. So, but again, I think sometimes it's hard to say, you need to remember the terms, but you don't need to remember what actually I put on the slide exactly. But you need to understand it. So the key word on this slide, for instance, IP and TCP, these are 2 terms. For terms, nothing to do with them. You have to remember, because without knowing the term, we cannot talk, right? I cannot say the question, you cannot answer, right? So this is something implicit you need to remember. Terms you need to remember, and anything else you can just forget. If you remember this on this slide, it just says IP is not reliable and TCP is reliable and by doing something. Finish. No need to repeat anything like this. This is what I mean understanding. IP is not reliable, so you need something else to make it reliable. So you have TCP, and TCP does something to make it reliable. If you can give examples of how TCP make it reliable, it's good, but normally you are not required to go to that. This means don't try to put these into your head. It doesn't help. The key thing is to make it reliable by doing a number of things. Okay. And from TCP to more protocols, once you have a reliable protocol, so on this slide, and then TCP has a feature of providing a number of ports, and every single port can be used by a single application actually to do something. And then, which means for every single port, actually, you can have something running application level protocol, and you have a number of different application level protocols. This is duplicate and UDP as well. And you also need to know that in addition to TCP, there's also another one called UDP, which does similar thing like TCP, providing ports so that you can run multiple applications, but without any reliability control. So IP is not reliable, TCP is reliable, TCP provides ports, and UDP is not reliable, but UDP provides ports. And you also need to explain why you need to, because in some cases you don't really care reliability much, but you want multiple applications to run from the same computer. Right? Like, think about the audio, voice over IP. When you make a phone call, if you lose a little bit quality, you are okay. You don't want a huge delay where we are calling. Which basically your reliability is less important, but real time requirements is more important. This is about understanding. HTTP protocol, you need to understand HTTP protocol is something sitting on top of TCP, which is using, it uses actually TCP ports because it is application level protocol, and it also has the interpretation, HTTPS. And this one actually you have to remember, because if you don't remember, there's nothing really to say about. So 4 different layers, all the names and the orders, and what protocol at which layer. And which protocol at which layer, of course, is linked to how you understand that. So if you understand IP, TCP, and HTTP, for instance, and you will be able to understand HTTP is higher and TCP is lower and IP is even lower. And then you basically already cover 3 layers and you only have 1 below, which is 4. But you really need the basic memory. And all the terms, all the key terms, the color ones, basically. And the 3 components of the web, which also need to be remembered. Because sometimes it may be confusing when you have to see the components of the web. And these cases which I use, when you see if there's 3 components of web, which is this stuff. Where, URL, how, HTTP, and what HTML. And URL format you have to remember. And notice you just need to remember, and also you have to understand every single components, what they are. From the scheme at the very beginning, you go to the middle, username, password, domain, and port, and further down go to the path, query string, and the fragment ID. For the query string, of course, this one, when you actually learn this in week 1, it's not really clear what query string really means. But when you actually learn the QT, actually it's clearer. That part to some extent related to PHP or dynamic server-side programming. How you submit data from client to the server, and in this case with async with the get method. Okay, which is something like that. And for URL, of course, you also need to understand or know URL encoding, which means when you see that percentage stuff and you know what that is, and you know why it's necessary. It's not about remember anything. That is required because limited character is required. And then you also know what is the percentage sum plus digits, hexadecimal digits, actually as a whole, the 3 characters represent a single character. This is expression like that. And yeah, so this is, as you see, about question 1. So what you roughly need to learn, and you also have the different legends. I think you saw 2. If we go to the question 2, I think I will going to see the third lesson, such as you know what that means. So question 2 and HTML terminologies, terms. Without terms, we cannot communicate. You have to remember the terms. When I say something in the exam, and you know what that means. When you answer and you say something, I know what you mean. Okay? Use the term. I won't repeat them because these are things in the week 1. You have to remember, which means those are the terms defined by people sitting in W3C, Worldwide Web Consortium. If you don't agree with them, okay, keep your opinion and remember those, because those are things defined by those guys, unfortunately. And standard attributes. ID, title, style, class, and only title is not really covered much, and ID linked to fragment ID, which is the last component of URL, and the ID is also used in CSS, because you can use, anybody remember what CSS selector is linked to ID attribute? So if you have the ID attribute, actually, so ID is the standard attribute of div element in this case. So by standard, which means most HTML elements can have them, and if they have them, the ID attribute has that meaning, which is giving us a name to that attribute. So everybody remember, actually, if we want to use CSS to select this div element whose ID is header, what selector we need to use? Selector. So what comes? So slash header, right? This is a CSS selector which is used to select a particular element whose ID is something, and the ID is over there. Style, which is used to define so-called inline style. Right? You can say this div should have some particular style, right? And this is called inline CSS style. And the class, again, you can also define class. It can also belong to a class heading, let's see. And then you can also use CSS selector to select every HTML element which belongs to a class, which is dot. So class select only one, and dot select a class. And these are the standard attributes. They are actually, of course, shown in week 1, but of course they became clearer in week 2. But you should have a better understanding when you really revise them. You see, oh, these are things actually actually repeated somehow in CSS. Some other things about the HTML, basic concepts, comments, case insensitive, for instance, and continuous space counted as multiple spaces, but single space. Structure of basic HTML elements, HTML documents, which is very simple: HTML head and body. But you need to remember this is an inside head you have title. This is basic structure which you always need to follow. Tags, okay, finally you see the third relation. So your head includes some kind of icon with some HTML code, and then you have a number of tags. So which means those are the tags you need to remember to that level, such that you can understand the piece of code which is given. Okay? To read the piece of code, you really need remember. For instance, if you are given BR, of course BR means brick, or to be more complete, line brick. But if you have no any memory about even that part, when you see BR and you have no idea about that, you can only explain what this piece of code is doing. Other things, table for instance, table TR, TH, TD for instance, they are so short you do need to have some memory about, for instance, TD means data cell and H means heading and R means row, so then you have some idea of, oh, these are the things actually this piece of code is defined. Form, for instance, is also about memory because you need to remember the exact format and what each part is doing. And get and post, you need to actually remember actually what are differences and of course correspondingly if you understand them and which one to use in different requirements. And in form you have different tags. Again, this is about if you are given a simple form, you need to understand what actually is form defines. So if you draw quickly how to look like, you should roughly know how to look like. And example. And for this one, this flash of course because you have arrows, which actually means you need to remember the name attribute. In this case, you need to remember the name attribute of input controller means something. Not remember the piece of code of this example, but you need, in this case, to remember name. And the name is not in the previous list of the standard attributes, although name is also standard attribute, but it's actually the name standard for input controller. And it has a particular purpose. Okay, so I'd like to stop here because if you go on, so I will try to reduce this one because you see this is currently quite long, which is more or less here. So I need to think a little bit and try to see how to minimize it. But the idea is you don't have to go back to the 11 exam readings, which altogether probably have at least 400 or 500 slides. So, but you can also tell me that which part actually you feel that you're confused with, then continue to define it and minimize it. Okay. So I will release that to Learn and then I will send email to you once it is available. And I will try to do it today. And then you can tell me which slide points you don't quite understand what I mean. Okay, so any questions so far about how this particular big collection of slides actually works, how it's organized, and or any about exam setting? Anything unclear? Clear? Okay. So then, should we have a short break, or should we go to the exam paper and do it, and then once we finish, we dismiss? Go to exam paper, or have 10 minutes break? It's actually 40 past 9. Any option? No? Exam paper. Okay. So that's what we can probably finish that. Depends on how fast we go. Yes, here. Not sure if it's probably not large enough. Let's see. Is there a way to make it even larger? Okay, this is probably large. Can delay this. Can you see the question as clearly? I will read them anyway. So, question 1 from last year. Question 1. Oh, I should read the main test of the big question. This question tests your general understanding of how the web works in the context of the internet. Okay. And it contains 5 sub-questions covering different parts of actually this module. And the first sub-question asks you use the University of Surrey's website www.surrey.ac.uk as an example. Explain how DNS domain name servers works and if this is an essential part of the web. So, how many marks? 4. Okay, so 4 marks. So sometimes, of course, you can easily guess how many marks actually are assigned to which part of the question. So for this sub-question, obviously you have 2 parts. So the first part is you need to explain DNS. Right? The second part you need to just explain the essential. So it's just largely 2 or 3, 1 distribution. So how it works 3 and if it is essential 1, or I mean if you guess. So this, and the other actual solution you can have load. The solution tells you how many marks for each part. So how it works? So if you think about how it works, think about the www.surrey.ac.uk is in the address bar of a web browser. Right? This is the starting point. This particular human readable name in the address bar and the web browser running on your machine, right? This is host A, which is your machine, and this is the server you want to visit, right, to get the web page, which is over there. Yeah, I'm just trying to explain how I'm constructing my question. This is host B, which is the server, which actually is the Surrey web server, right? Which are both connected with the internet. Right? When you actually start thinking about this thing, this would be something we can see here. Oh, okay. So without DNS, largely speaking, what you do is you just need to know the IP address, right? Without DNS, you need to know IP address. There's a host that you just connect to the IP address, right? Get the web page and just show it. Very simple without IP address or without DNS. With DNS, the question is not about explaining IP address; it's about explaining the email. Without IP address, you cannot connect to the server because you don't know where the server is, right? So, which means, if you remember, if you need to ask a DNS server, right, for what is the address of this one, and the DNS server is configured in your local machine. So, host A actually has a setting which says you have a number of DNS servers. You can ask for IP address of any domain name, and that DNS server, of course, you then probably ask other DNS servers. You don't need to pick. This is how it works. You ask DNS, and DNS tells you IP address a.d.c.d. Okay. You know a.d.c.d, and then you can send a request to the server, and the other things can be finished. Then when you write it down, you will see, okay, how DNS works. So, web browser will send a request to the DNS server and asking for the IP address of www.surrey.ac.uk, and once it gets IP address, you can send the client to the address. 2 things, rather finish. Second part, it is the essential part of the web. So, and this second part is a bit vague. Depends on what you understand essential means. You can answer this way. If you say it's essential because without it, a human user cannot use the web. Because domain name is something you can remember. People can easily share with each other and it's meaningful. Correct? Or you can also say it's not essential because you don't need it technically, if everybody has a super good memory, like how we work with hexagon number is not very good. But okay, with epsilon, they are shorter, of course. If you answer this way, you say it's not essential technically speaking because you don't really need it. If you don't have it, you just need to enter A dot B dot C dot D. That's it. Right? Nothing wrong with that. So this somehow means there's no standard answer for the second part. You will see some kind of sample answer in the solution, but if you answer it differently, and because I'm not a machine, so when I mark it, I will see actually how you actually answer, how you understand, how you argue for that. So either way, you will be marked and correct, and you will get the mark as long as you argue it properly. This is first one. Any questions regarding how I answered this one? You can repeat. I will write down the web browser. We send the request to a DNS server and to get that address of this human record name. And after that, it can connect to that address, which is where the web server is run here. Of course, this is my words. You can easily replace it as long as you come with the same, roughly the same message. The key message is you need to connect, you need to talk with the DNS server first. This is the key message. And get what? That address. Second part, I normally will say it's not essential because technically speaking, you don't need it. Any question? Any question? Move on to the next one. The next one is explain what are the three key components of the web and how they allow a visitor to access web page on a web server or website. 6 marks and easily split into probably 3. To the first part, the 3 components. 1 component, 1 mark. And this is how I think you should think, and this is actually how I think when I set the questions. And then you have another 3 marks which actually allocate to how you explain those 3 parts altogether. And this one is, largely speaking, is what on that slide which you see before. There we have it. So it's basically this size, and you just need to. Of course, you cannot just, if you really remember that by heart, it's not about just copy paste this one to the exam paper. It would look really awkward. So you probably just translate this one. You say, okay, the 3 components are those things, and then they do of where you know where things are, and then you need to get things from there, right? In this protocol, and then after you get the thing is written in a particular way. You need language, common language at the top to understand what actually this thing actually will receive. So 6 mark question with simplified. So I will not explain further. So that B1B is just that slide. Again, read the simple solution, so we see how I answer it. 1C, one news web page on a website has the following URL: http:// this is the backslash, www.abc.com and /% mark big E2 % mark A0 % mark 98 and some other things, and until the end. And then the question is, explain what those percentage signs and plus those kind of hexadecimal digits, yes, 2, what those things are and why they have to be encoded in that string manner. 2 marks. So again, this is obviously about URL encoding. This is about understanding. When you see that, you know immediately what those things are. Here, right? It actually contains two parts. To understand that UIR, of course, you also need to understand the basic structure of UIR, which means you need to understand that. But the focus of this question is not about the structure itself. It doesn't mean you won't get a question in this year's exam of asking about component. But this question, of course, asking about why you have the strange transit sign followed by two hexadecimal characters. And the question, of course, when we answer that question, is not about telling what those characters are, because you won't know, because those are actually the kind of special characters, and you have the UTF-8 code, encoded code points which are, you won't know anything. So it's about explain what they are, and you will see they are special characters which are not supported in the URL. If you want brackets, because you are only support limited characters, so they have to be encoded in a special way. So basically, this is they are URL encoded special characters, and why? Because they are limited characters you can use in the URL. And 1D. So website hosts both static web-based and dynamic server-side PHP scripts. Explain the steps. Explain the steps happen as the server side when it receives the URL from a client. So is the question test clear, or you found sometimes it's probably quite difficult to understand the synthesis? A website hosts both static and dynamic stuff. Explain the steps happen at the server side when to receive a URL from the client. So what that one basically means, if the server receives a URL 1 static, URL 2 dynamic. So what the server will do? Or actually the server even won't know what it is, if it's static or dynamic. The server actually only receive URL. It first needs to know if it's static or dynamic, and then you do something else. So server receive URL, start extension, static or dynamic. So starting from URL and check the extension to know if it's static or dynamic. If it's static, right, localize, so locate the file, HTML file, right, send the contents back to the class. If it's dynamic, you also need to locate the dynamic program, because the URL does not correspond to the local location of the static dynamic file. Locate the dynamic program or script. Run it, right? Or execute it. Return the result. The output to the client. So my handwriting probably is terrible, but you probably should listen to me rather than look at what I'm writing. So this means this is something we probably hear, not rewrite. Then okay, you found that. Then you see, okay, now I'm start writing. The first step is the web server will check the extension, which is the last bit of the URL. And if it is PHP, so the person said it's a server-side PHP script. The PHP server will locate the PHP script on the web server, execute it, get the results, return the results to the client. If the extension is not PHP, assume it's a static, then we will locate the file, get the contents, return the contents back to the client. Okay, finished. So of course we write actually the sentence. Actually, your answer you should try to be brief, come with the key part. If you're not sure, of course you have to write more, but try to guess what are the key things which the mark is looking at. So is this clear? 1B. The last one. Explain what are the 4 layers of the internet. List 3 key protocols supporting the web and tell at which layer they are running. 7 marks. This again, just one slide. Actually less than one slide. This one, of course, is also combined with the key components of the web. 4 layers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Because you have 7 marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 marks. 3 protocols, each 1 mark. But 3 protocols for the web. Right? The web, the key protocol for the web is the HTTP. Right? What? How you get stuff? How you send requests? HTTP over there. And HTTP running on top of TCP, right? And TCP running on top of line. Finish. Okay. The answer will be the 4 layers are link layer, internet layer, transport layer, application layer. Here it, 4 marks called. And the 3 protocols supporting the web is HTTP, bracket, application layer, TCP, bracket, transport layer, and IP, bracket, internet layer. 7 marks. Okay. Which aids these lines. Of course, you also need to identify what protocol actually HTTP is running on. You cannot take HTTP UDP, then you get things wrong. It should be HTTP, TCP, and IP in this case. So this is a bit less than and a bit more than this one. Okay, so we now finish question 1. Any questions regarding the last year question 1 and how I answered it myself? No question? Clear? Okay. It's clear, so we move on to question 2. Question 2, the man said, this question tests your general understanding on different key web publishing technologies, including X, brackets, HTML, CSS, server-side programming in general, of course, and XML. Server-side programming, of course, mainly talking about the concept and PHP. So, 2A, what are the relationship and the main difference between HTML and HTML? How can one tell the web browser which one is used? 3 marks. This is about what is HTML. This is in the file. You are starting to try to recall what actually you learned about XHTML. So remember XHTML. XHTML equals to X modified HTML. Right? This is something in V5. So this is the key thing which you just need to explain a little bit further. how one can tell web browser which one is used, you can say doc type. Doc type tells you if it's XHTML or HTML. For XHTML, doc type is compulsory. This is the last rule about XHTML. So this is the difference between XML and HTML is XHTML is XML5, so it's XML as well. HTML is not XML5, so this is HTML and not XML. Largely speaking. And doc type can tell web browser which actually, if it is HTML or XHTML. To be, explain what are the 3 ways of defining styles of HTML elements and how they allow you to define styles of HTML elements. So of course the first part is about what they are, and the second part is actually about how you actually really do that. So probably I should go to recent readings just to recall your weekly memory. So week 2, because it's about CSS, obviously, about styles. Just remember in week 2. Yes. So 1, 2, 3. So in line 12, that you need to put things as a style attribute of an element. Then we define that element style. Internal style sheet. But you use a link element inside. No, you use style element inside head element, and then you will define a number of selectors, which actually tells you what elements you need to select, and then you will apply a number of properties to them. And the third type is external style sheet, which then you will need to use link element, then referring to a separate file, which then store what actually you normally put in the internal style sheet. Again, how you actually phrase the answer is up to you. So, but as long as you cover what's the key things on this side, so you better answer that question and answer properly. So you see actually often some question is exactly about a single slide. So some slides are very important. And you can guess what actually there are some more important ones. Okay. So nothing about 3D, it's about that slide. 3 different ways, and you also should use the right term. And in this case, use the inline style, internal style sheet, external style sheet. If you use different terms, so it will be very difficult to understand what you're talking about. Of course, if I see that you explain it properly, if I see that you say, I cannot remember this, how it's called. It's called something, but you use the style element inside head element, which is not something. Okay, it seems internal style sheet, so you just forget the name. In that case, you probably get a little bit. You will get somewhere, but you probably just get a little bit deduction. Okay, and 3, as we see, the following HTML code is a segment of a web page whose URL is this: http adc.com and adc.php. What will be the URL shown in the web browser address bar after a visitor enters name in the text input control of the simple HTML form defined in the code, and then click Submit button. So is the code statement. So you have a web page. Then on this web page you have a form. And this form contains input type